Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gina Marie Agderian. I am the author of The Letters in the Old House, available on Amazon in paperback and Kindle. I will have a link to purchase the book in the description below. So today is another episode of Book Talk. This is a series where I talk about a book that I recently read, what I liked, what I didn't like, and ultimately help you determine if you might like to read this book. So today we are talking about The Inmate by Frieda McFadden. This is actually the first book I have ever read by Frieda McFadden. I give it a 3 out of 5. I will explain my rating, but the plot is basically there is this woman named Brooke who is a nurse practitioner, and she is moving back to her hometown after living in Queens, which is one of the 5 boroughs in New York City if you're not from this area. And she's actually moving back to her hometown in upstate New York. And her parents have passed away, and she's a nurse practitioner, and she's trying to get a job. And she can't really get a job anywhere except for at this prison that's near her home as a provider of healthcare for the prisoners. And one of the prisoners is her ex-boyfriend, Shane, who tried to kill her 10 years ago. And so she eventually, of course, runs into him, and all sorts of problems occur. She meanwhile has this other guy from her past coming back into her life, and they were very good friends when they were kids all the way through high school. And then she kind of left town after Shane tried to kill her senior year of high school. Now, she's not completely sure if it was actually Shane who tried to kill her because it was dark. There was a power outage, so she couldn't see, but she felt like it was Shane based on the way the person smelled and based on their body. I guess she knew what his body felt like on top of her. So I have to say, and I don't mean this in a negative way towards the author of this book, but it's just in general this character, and she's fake, so it is what it is. But this has to be one of the dumbest characters I have ever seen in a book, and I mean really stupid. And without really giving too much away, she just makes these decisions that really, I get the plot has to move along, but a lot of the decisions that she made were just, I was shocked that this woman got through schooling to become a nurse practitioner, because that's not easy to do. And yet somehow she is second guessing herself. She's being manipulated by Shane. And there are all these things going on where she just doesn't trust herself, and she gives everybody the benefit of the doubt way too much. She just she doesn't think. And that actually drove me nuts, because I know there are people in this world, a lot of them, who don't think, but she really didn't think. And any normal person of normal intelligence reading this book would say, hey, probably not a good idea to do that. Or what are you thinking by doing or saying this? And her lack of intelligence really actually drove me nuts, especially because she is portrayed to be a woman who she made it on her own. She has a 10-year-old son. She is a nurse practitioner. She's in the medical field, not easy to do. So she's allegedly not an idiot, but every decision in this book that she makes says otherwise. So it also felt, the way the author wrote this, it felt very young adult to me. And I never really read the comments in Goodreads until after I finish a book, because I don't like to sway my opinion of it one way or the other. So I like to read through the comments and see if it validates how I felt, or maybe I can see a different perspective. But ultimately someone said that, and I 1000% agree that it felt very young adult. The way she talked, the character Brooke in this book, she felt very immature. It felt like a high schooler who was speaking, and the way she was thinking, she didn't have a lot of maturity. And at 28, especially being a mother, she should have a little bit more maturity than she exhibited in this book. And it was almost hard, towards the end, to garner any sympathy for her, because she was very stupid in many ways. And it was quite shocking, actually, at some points. It wasn't a bad book. This moves very quickly. This is a good I would say this is almost like a good palate cleanser if you're in between heavier books. This is billed as a thriller. It did not feel super scary to me or super like, oh my God, or putting me on the edge of my seat, but it moved quickly. So I always like to have palate cleanser books or books that I can recommend as palate cleansers to other people after you read something really heavy, like something from Kristen Hanna or something like that. So I would recommend this, like I said, if it's a palate cleanser, you're looking just for a really quick thriller, maybe even something to take on the beach or to the lake or to the pool or your backyard this summer. This is just a good quick book to get through and move on to the next. So The Inmate by Frieda McFadden. Let me know in the comment section if you liked this book or didn't like this book, or if you plan to read it. And as always, guys, happy reading.